Hey guys, I decided to do a video to dispel some myths about the black onyx resin from SmoothOn. Basically what brought this on is that I just made one of these swords for someone, and once I told them that I made it out of onyx, they had a concern that, well, why did I choose this material? The RPF apparently is riddled with posts with people not being happy with onyx, and in fact I have a video where one of my early Sith Acolyte chest plates was made out of onyx, and that didn't really hold up very well. So why did I choose onyx to make the sword out of? Well, onyx is a great material when used properly. A lot of people choose it simply because it is black. You know, it's naturally black. It looks cool when you cast, but it is brittle. If you're making wearable parts for your armor, parts that are going to be exposed to a lot of movement and whatnot, you're probably not going to have a very good experience with onyx because it can snap, it can break. But having said that, it is an excellent material for cold casting because of its hardness, and the harder the resin, the better it polishes. So for example, here I have two swords. This one is made out of 65D and this one is made out of onyx, and these are B grade poles. You can see here that I made a bit of a boo-boo while the resin was still soft. I put a clamp on it which made that. This is also a B grade pole because the handle is all messed up here. Anyways, so perfect test subjects here for what I'm doing. So 65D being soft doesn't hold polish very well, and the camera isn't really picking it up, but I did use some steel wool here to demonstrate it. If you were here in person, you would see that the onyx polished much better. In fact, you can actually see it right there on the camera. Much more shiny than this, right? So onyx, being a hard resin, polishes better. Now the brittleness that most people talk about comes from if you're making a part that is thin and you're exposing that part to a lot of flex, then that part will snap, will break. But this blade is over 1 centimeter thick, and there's a metal plate reinforcing the sword that runs from here to about here on both blades. So realistically, this thing is strong, so you should have no worries and no concerns. Is this thing gonna hold up to when I troop with it? Well, as long as you don't sword fight with this thing, it's gonna hold up, because the most you're gonna be doing with it is just basically just swinging it around, right, posing and whatever else. So it will hold up to whatever it is you're doing, as long as you're not being overly aggressive with it. Now, the other property that I really like about onyx being used in the sword is that the sword doesn't bend. It feels solid. Okay, whereas this thing has flex. You can't really see it, but see, it's bending. And that's not good, because if you leave this thing in your car on a hot day, it'll warp. And even if you leave this lying on the ground like this for a prolonged period of time, when you pick it up, you'll notice that there'll be a slight bend to the blade right here, because this resin is soft. This thing, you can basically set it resting like this for a few months, and it will not lose its shape. So this is by far the better choice. Okay, now let's do this test. Okay, you can throw it. I don't recommend it, but you throw both of these swords, the tip might break, so you got to be careful with that. But even if you drop it, it's gonna hold up. So you shouldn't feel like, oh, you know what, onyx is a bad material, it's brittle, it's going to break, and therefore don't use it. No, if you use it correctly, it will work. And if you reinforce it properly, like I did with my swords here, it will work. So, but from now on, I am going to be making my swords out of ONYX resin because it is by far the better choice out of all the other resins that I've tried, especially for this type of prop.